first is joy, and the last is need. Ships, boat toys, tossed and cast, you know what I mean. The inner sea.
One of the things you'll bear with me that I do, and we do it every time we have this award. It's a short statement on how important or what the significance of this award is. And I'd like to say I'm not going to read it, but I am because I wrote it. And I read it every year. You've heard it before. It's because we really believe it. Saline Chamber of Commerce Award, Business Enterprise Award, is widely recognized as the most meaningful and prestigious tribute business can achieve in the greater Saline area market. In that sense, the annual Business Enterprise Awards has also come to represent the most important recognition our chamber gives. And that's true. That is our Academy Awards. That's the ultimate recognition. That's why we're all here tonight. And maybe one of these years we'll get out of the red carpet and really do it up right. But this is the 16th annual awards gala, and it's honoring what we finally referred to as the best of the best in the area of business market. The Chamber extends its congratulations to Cobblestone Rose and Theo Sarah Unimarco for their outstanding achievement. I was told not to jiggle the microphone because it could go out, so I'm trying to be very careful. I was thinking a lot about this award during the week, and I think for me at the chamber, when I get up in the morning, I always have the best of the intentions. I've got any number of files and things and fires that need to be put out. We always approach the morning with all kinds of energy. We're going to get this done, and it's going to happen. And then as soon as the bell goes off, the phone rings, and the other problems happen, and we tend to put some of the things that we just never mean to get to aside because we all get busy in our lives. And I think all of us have the same kind of experience. And for that reason, I think sometimes we don't step back enough and recognize, truly the good work that's being done in our communities. And that's what these awards are about. We all have to take time out of our professional lives and say, hey, these are the top ones. These are the people that are setting an example. These are the people that really show us, the way through these difficult times, particularly in the last several years, since 2008. And we're making it. And for that reason, I think it's well worth having this type of a thing happen every year. I tell people left and right, this is the most important award the chamber makes. Next up, this is the speaking opportunity for our very important, and for I don't know how many years in a row, 15 years in a row. KeyBank always lines up to be the sponsor of this before anybody gets a chance. And that's to their credit. They have a great community footprint, not only in our community, but all throughout Michigan. And with that, I'd invite our KeyBank sponsors to come up and say a few words.
I am the branch manager at the KeyBank in downtown Saline, and we are extremely happy to sponsor the Saline Business Enterprise Awards again this year. This prestigious award is near and dear to my heart because you are the businesses that make up this community, and I would like to congratulate the Cobblestone Rose and Sarah Unimarco, and thank you for all the service that you offer the Saline community, as well as for the example that you set for us all. When companies like yours set the example for the community and join with the community for a common purpose, we enhance our ability to bring prosperity to Saline. And at Key Bank, we share this vision and commitment to the community. I personally look forward to what lies ahead for Saline and this great community of ours. And I want to thank the Saline Chamber of Commerce for always recognizing and awarding such great commitment for the businesses. I invite each and every one of you to come visit me in the office in downtown Saline. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and I hope you enjoy your evening.
Yes, my contributors this evening, we need to quickly recognize it. How many people here know what SCTN is? Well, that's our cable TV. You'll have a disc of this, and I think we can need copies. I think we can do that for you. Thank you, Saline Area Schools from SCTN. Also, as always, I'm not that smooth. I got something already. We have an award appreciation plaque for Key Bank. They've already got so many over there at the branch. I don't know where they're going to put it. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Stonebridge Golf Club. They do. I don't know how many years we've been. How many years have we been having here? And every year they do a better job. I mean, it's always, they always set the bar higher. Appreciate the staff, all the help of the staff here today too. They make things just work really well for us. With that, I'd like to introduce you now to the chairman of our Chamber's Board of Directors, who, if I could take this aside, I'd like to thank our Board of Directors who've really done a good job with this selection process for the Business Enterprise Awards. But with that, I'd like to introduce Jill Durnan, this year's president of our Board of Directors.
Program at this moment is to recognize the past recipients who are in attendance this evening. From 1996, from Saline Flowerland, we have Peg Long. From 2002, we have Rhodes and Jordan Associates. We have a whole table from 2006 from Brecken's Village and Evangelical Home Saline. We have 2007, we have Tammy King from Bemis Farms Preschool and Childcare. 2008, we have Joy Ely from the Pineapple House. 2009, from Spotted Dog Winery, John Olson. Also from 2009, from LaFontaine Chrysler, Dodge Jeep, we have Jeff Dunn. And then both from last year, I'm a representative from Hartman Insurance, and then we also have representatives from Lee Bear. We have Vicki Snyder and Steve Picasso. We also want to introduce the people from the current board of directors. So if you could please stand, we have Denise Rabideau from Evangelical Home Saline. I'm going to see on the table. So Tammy King, Jeff Dowling are also on our current board. April Scarlett's on our board. Joy Ely. Karen Ragland is here. We do have a launching coming up, so if you are interested in being on our board, please see later.
Yes. It's kind of a really unique evening for me because I I can't call myself a native Salinian. Anybody who knows what a native Salinian is, you got to talk to an old timer. And if you were even around Saline before 1960, you're not a native. And I've been here since '71, so that tells you. But since I've been here, since I've lived since Saline, since actually '77, I can. It's just a unique evening. I think it's just the way the things fell into place this evening. But I can remember what our downtown was like when I first moved. And some of you are shaking your heads. Oh, yeah, I remember what it was like too. It's sort of like it was Big Daddy's, and that was it, right? Gas station. Oh, there was no gas station at City Hall. But through the era, I can remember that we always had our downtown. The real backbone of our downtown was Pineapple House, and it was Cobblestone Rose, and it was Calico Cat. We had others come and go, but those were really the stalwarts, the ones that really understood, what appealed to people. And both Joy and Karen have a great touch for them. They understand people, and they attract good people to them too. And so they all happen to be here tonight, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, I can remember when I first moved here, Carol would come back from her annual damaging the credit cards trips. But they always the special place where you got something neat. You knew where it came from because it was high quality and great touch. Was one of those three, and particularly Calico Cat in certain types of things that were very. Well, my wife loves to sit around, so we got a ton of them. I'm sure that's okay, Calico Cat. But once you got in there, I'll pay for this later on, I'm sure. We always had neat stuff, and that's a credit to the taste and the concern and the really willingness of. When Calico Cat, Marcia and Jim moved into the old church, and I call it the old church because it was an old church when they moved in. They did a lot of improvements in there. Great carpentry. It was kind of a fun place to go, just look around. I have to admit too, even you guys out there would have enjoyed the neat stuff she had. And that's been years and years and years. And we, as a chamber, have recognized that in addition to our awards, our business awards, we also have certain people who as individuals have made an outstanding contribution to our business community. And I don't think there's any doubt that this is maybe even long overdue, that we should have taken notice of all the things that have been done for us through the years. Like I was saying, take a step back and take a look at it and recognize Jim and Marcia Duncan, who are with us this evening. So I think that's my cue for you two. You have to come up here and say what you think.
Oh, you have to speak, yes.
This really was my wife's business. She started at Manchester in 1975. In 1982, George Kemp, the men's clothing store on Main Street, recruited Marcia from Manchester to Saline. And I'll let Marcia take it from there.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this lovely recognition. It just means the world to us. In a way, I feel like we should be giving you an award for the privilege of serving you all these years. When I was a little girl, one of my fondest dreams from the time I was a little girl till I grew up was that I wanted to have a gift shop. And I can remember I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, and I would go by gift stores and just look in yearningly. And I didn't know how to do this, but someday I knew that I wanted to do it. We moved to Manchester, and sometimes when you want something from the bottom of your heart, you don't even know that you have the courage to try to do it. And I remember I wanted this so badly, and there was a vacant building in Manchester. I went into the Hallmark store in Ann Arbor where Mrs. Booth had the original Hallmark store. And I said, I would like to open a gift shop, but I don't know how. And she was kind enough to give me directions to the permanent showrooms in Detroit, downtown Detroit. And I still don't really believe how I did this, but I drove down to the very unsafe area of Detroit, and I walked into this building, and I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And if I look back and were to tell you what I purchased at that time for my store that was just starting, I kind of laughed because I really didn't know what I was doing. And I opened the store on June 15th, and within a week, a young teenager came in from the Manchester High School wearing what she had stolen from me. Then, a couple of days after we opened the store. So I began shaking every time a customer came in, and I reported her to the police. But I said I want to speak to her before you take her into custody or do whatever you're going to do with her. And so he brought her in to see me. And I found out that she had 4 brothers who were dealing in drugs. And she was trying so hard to escape that life, but that's all she knew. And so she stole. So I sat her down and I said, if you continue this way, you are going to end up in prison. And I don't want you to be in prison. We had a nice talk, and I gave her a Bible. And several years later, she walked back in my store, and she was there for a funeral, and she said, Marcia, I lost my Bible. So I gave her another Bible, and she went merrily on her way. I can't tell you how many times during the years I gave out Bibles. There was one lady in particular in Manchester who told me she wanted to commit suicide. And I got her the help that she needed because I knew I wasn't able to do that. But time and again, people came in with needs, and we would forget all about selling. We would listen to people when they came in. And we moved to Saline in '82, and were given the opportunity to rent the building that we've been in. My son spent a whole summer taking everything down to the brick so that we could be restoring it. And I opened in Saline, and again, I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember that under the direction of Don Shelton, Saline became part of the Main Street program. And it was such a fun time to learn what other communities were doing around the country. It was not a giveaway. We had to earn our way through it. But it was a little bit like the little engine that could, you think you can, and you hang in no matter what. And gradually, we saw businesses start to appear in Saline, and we had wonderful mayors who helped us along. And then one day, I drove by this church, and there was a for sale sign in front of it. And I said to Jim, there's a church for sale. And he said, uh-huh. And we made an appointment to meet with a retailer there. And unfortunately, he was representing a city who owned the building. So when he showed us the building one evening, it was raining and so dark and damp, and I remember standing on the pulpit, and the tears started coming down my cheeks. And my husband nudged me and said, you're not supposed to act like you're interested, Marcia. So we knew there was a price on the building, and we didn't have that kind of money. And help me out here. You help me out.
We couldn't take on the whole building itself, and the city let us divide the building. So we took the church part, and a good friend of ours bought the back, what was the Sunday school section. So we split it apart, we rebuilt the building. I think our contractor started in about July 4th that summer. By the 1st of November, we had a complete store, which was a miracle in itself. And suddenly we were in business at the church.
Our contractor was Rick Schuchard, and we used Hobbs and Black in Ann Arbor for our architect. And Jim really didn't want to go to work in the morning because he knew when he came home at night that between the three of us, we had dreamed up all these wonderful things. We had had someone come out and look at the building to make sure it was safe, and he either lied or didn't know what he was talking about because everything was falling apart. And there were 2 inches of water in the bottom of the basement floor. And Jim said when we got to church, we were going to do a little touch-up. And if we hadn't had Rick Schuchard to get us in the time that we needed, we would have not been able to have the Christmas season, and we wouldn't even have made it. And so there were so many wonderful things that happened along the way. It was the experience of a lifetime for me to be a part of such a beautiful restoration. And one day, when we first got the building, I was standing in the middle of the floor, and I saw these huge doors, and I didn't know what I was going to do with the doors, so I had a little talk with God, and I said, I don't know what we're going to do with those. I don't want to give them away or sell them. They belong here. And all of a sudden, in my head was the word shelving. And we took the doors and made them into display cases. And then I also said one day to God, I said, God, it's such a privilege to have this building, and it's okay if we don't make a profit, as long as I get to do this wonderful, wonderful thing of serving people, and I don't need any money. Well, he honored that. And we had wonderful years there, and then came a time when all of retail suffered because there were so many collectibles going down the tubes. And we were forced to sell the building, and we moved over to our original spot on Michigan Avenue, and were there for a few years until the economy forced us out of business. And I have wonderful memories of all of my customers and being able to become knowledgeable about what they needed and bringing in things that maybe somebody else didn't have that would help my customers. So we spent the last 3 years trying to go out of business. We left the store the end of August, and you can't get in my living room, you can't get in my dining room, you can't get in my garage. And if you believe in prayer, I could use a little bit of it because I have to learn how to use the internet and sell this product. And then my story comes to a close to the present time. My daughter called me yesterday. She has 3 little boys, and she asked me a question. And I said, yes, Leslie, I have a lot of clean underwear for you. It's in the car ready to go to your house. Mom, I didn't ask you that. I asked you if you had any regular peanut butter. I'm going to call the phone right now, and you make an appointment, get a hearing test.
we're gonna do a little ad lib with the roving microphone, and I know you, over the years, you've developed a lot of regular customers, Jim and Marcia. I'm not sure who all of them are, but I think I can vote, probably your number one fan, I think, was Irene, and I asked her to just say a few words.
It's a pleasure to be part of this evening, to honor Jim and Marcia, and I represent the many people who've been customers at their store. It's been a pleasure to shop in the setting that Marcia described. It was the former Methodist church, and just so you know, the beautiful window on the cover is from that building that they helped to preserve. That store was a destination for me when I would come to Saline, and now that I'm a resident, it continued to be a destination as well as the store on Michigan Ave. As a person who is very eager to promote Saline, as I tell my friends and family that come, it was always a pleasure to take them to Marcia and Jim's store. The products they had were of highest quality, and they would take the time to explain the items that we were interested in. And they were also very appreciative of the sale that was made. They made us feel that our time there was important to them, and as well as it was to us. So congratulations on this wonderful evening, and it's an honor to be a part of it with you. But thank you for your many years of bringing joy to so many people.
Last little bit, and then Joe takes over. We have a plaque in recognition, professional, it says professional lifetime achievement is recognized by the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce, as well as an entire community, I might add, in recognition for their outstanding professional accomplishments, October 20th, 2011.
Congratulations to the Duncans. I do remember as a child, my sister and I used to come in and spend our allowance on stickers that you always had in rolls right by the cash register. And I remember the best part of the day is if you actually caught a glimpse of the actual calico cat hiding somewhere in your store. So it was a good day if you could see that cat. I would like to take a quick moment, first off, to a little piece of business. I did miss one of our board members who is in attendance tonight. I was a little clouded by the award he's also receiving later, so David Yu is also on our board, and I apologize for missing you. And at this time, I'd like to take...
He'd be home once in a while, maybe we recognize when he shows up.
It's always often John and others or I'd like to take a quick moment to explain the selection criteria for the tonight's awards and also the process for choosing the recipients of the awards. The selection criteria is, number one, you have to have a substantial history as an established, successful business in the Saline area. You must demonstrate commitment to the overall health and productivity of the Saline area. You demonstrate commitment to provide customers or clients the best possible service and or products. Consistently follow ethical and fair business practices. Contribute to the betterment of the community through a volunteer effort. And you are a Saline Area Chamber of Commerce member in good standing. It's the most important part. Nominations are received from community members. And then there are 2 award categories, one to small business, 1 to 20 employees, and the other is 21 or more employees, the large business category. And then all the nominees are brought to the chamber board, and then we decide who the recipients will be each year. At this time, it is time to present our first award of the evening. The 2011 recipient of the Small Business of the Year Award, the 1 to 20 employees, is Cobblestone Rose. So Karen, would you please come up? People who would like to give you some tribute, so before you get to yours, I would like to invite Mark Mamet and John Mayer up to the podium.
You want to be part of this? Stand right here. First of all, Cobblestone Rose, what you all have accomplished is quite very impressed with what you have done, how you've done it, and the style in which you have accomplished what you did. What this is a tribute from the state, and it's from Senator Randy Richardville, myself, and the governor. And these are read into the permanent record in the House and the Senate. So you're there for life, which is a good thing. But I wanted to present this to you, and the tribute reads, in a special tribute, therefore this document is signed and dedicated to you, Cobblestone Rose, Saline Area Chamber of Commerce, 2011 Business Enterprise Award recipient. We appreciate all that you've done and what you continue to do for your community. You are a shining star. Thank you.
Now, Dr. Francie to come up from Tim Holder.
Well, my name is Dustin. I'm the local staffer for Congressman Tim Walberg's office, who would love to have been here tonight. It's my honor to present to you actually something good that came out of Washington. It's a congressional tribute in honor of the great business you've run for so many years here in Saline. Whether it be the Duncans or whether it be you, the contribution you've given to this community really speaks volumes. It's a wonderful community, in my estimate, the best, arguably, in the country. Thanks to people like you and thanks to the Duncans. So I just wanted to give you this congressional tribute from Congressman Tim Walberg.
Mayor Gretchen Driscoll.
We'll let you know when you talk.
Okay. Hello? Is this better? Yes. Okay. I'm delighted to be here to recognize Cobblestone Rose. We have a long, great history in the city of Saline, in our downtown, and one of the core businesses that stuck through it all. And not only stuck through it all, but grew from, 600 square feet to more than double that. What's your square footage now? 2,000? Are you going to talk about that? I think one of the things that's great about Cobblestone Rose, and I also want to thank all the wonderful staff people that work with you, because that's what makes Cobblestone Rose and Saline special, is the service that you provide and makes our downtown a special place for people to come and shop and visit and feel like when you go on Cobblestone Rose, and I know that this is something that's a core value for you, is that your family. It's like, we're so glad to see you again, and you have these really great products, and it's just a really wonderful store, and it brings people from all over the region and probably other states, and so I just want to say thank you, and we really appreciate your continuing commitment to our community. You do a great job.
Use this one. Is that okay? Marcia and Jim stole a little bit of my thunder. I lived a similar path. I do want to take a minute to congratulate Kyle Sarah and Americo on the big business award. I'm not done yet. And I was worried about a speech. I don't even get to give one.
I'm sorry, it's my mistake. I was chatting with Joe, and but you do get the award plaque. It says Cobblestone Rose, best of the best in Saline area, proudly presented by the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. And number two, part two of this is, ta-da.
Oh my.
Graced my office for the last year, and I have really come to be used to it. So I am glad that it is just going down the street. So I would like to present you with the
Thank you so much.
large business company. It's such a privilege to have a business in Saline. My heartfelt congratulations to Marcia and Jim. They were so welcoming when I came to town and always had good things to say. And they sent me a note on their 25th year in business that said, thanking me for being a part of the Saline mix. And that's the kind of people they are. That's great. My beginnings go back a long time now, 20 years. And also in Manchester, there's something in the water there. We were in the old mill. I was with another friend after my girls grew up. I was kind of looking for something to do, and she did wonderful florals, and I said, oh, I'd like to help with that sometime. And all of a sudden, I was on board. I didn't know they were made out in a barn in the middle of winter with a kerosene heater going on. But, you know, we all survived, and we still call ourselves the Barn Potatoes. And from there, I became a part of the business in 1992. That was February. In June, her husband got transferred to Atlanta. And it was sort of her niece that was helping us with that, and me, and she said, you want to try and keep it going? And we said, sure, that's what we got to do. So we kept the little store going, and then my business partner at that time, Elizabeth Bush, which I'm sure many of you know, she wanted to be able to walk to work, and she lived in Saline. And we also had a lot of brides that came from the Detroit area, and she thought it'd be easier for them to find our store if we were in Saline. So we made that move. Since it was a half hour for me either way, it didn't really matter. And 2 years later, she had twins and left. So this is how I got to be the owner of the Cobblestone Rose. At one point in my life, I did write a business plan for a college course. The rest of it's just sort of fallen in my lap. But I've had a lot of support along the way. When we came to Saline, Bill Kenley was just beginning negotiations on purchasing what has now become Murphy's Crossing. And I think we hold the distinction of being the first tenant of his first building, actually. And we insisted on being as close to the Calico Cat as we could be. And there were only 2 units left, and they were pretty close there anyway. But we knew Marcia and Jim had a lot of traffic in there, and we thought that'd be the wonderful place to be. So our 600 square feet was filled with flowers and wedding things, and when men came in with their wives, and they sort of groaned and not know quite where to move, because we had it pretty full, and they would quickly exit and say, I'll wait outside. And this was February, of course, but they just sort of parted company. So it became sort of a challenge for me to finally get to a point where men would be comfortable in my store. And in the next couple of years, I started adding gifts, and I started adding clothes, and pretty soon Bill had a new space ready at the other end of the block. And he said, you need a bigger place. And I said, yeah, I probably do. And it was only 900 square feet. So we got up to 900 square feet. And little by little, we kept adding and adding and adding, and pretty soon we were coming out of the seams there. So he was finishing off the lower level of the first place I was in, the dirt basement that used to scare me when I had to go down and change a fuse. And he did such a beautiful job, as he always does, on his properties. And we made the dive to keep both stores open for a while, and then when the economy got kind of bad, we went down to the one. But all of this has been a journey with a lot of people. My grandchildren, years ago, slept on the floors during Christmas setup. We'd nap them there, and everybody would pitch in and help. I've had this wonderful staff for a long time, and I'd like a few of them to stand up and say how many years, because I can't keep track. Vicki and Diane are kind of my Saturday girls, but they help out when they can. Vicki's a teacher, but she just loves the camaraderie of some adult conversation. Gives us Saturday mornings. And how many years? 12. 12. Diane? Almost 12. Maureen? 15. Jill? 7. Cheryl? 10. Norma?
10 or 11, yeah.
And that's since she retired from her regular job. So,
Within a week, I saw her in the parking lot, and I said, do you need any help? I always wanted to do retail.
and we're just a family. We've been through a lot together. We've raised kids together, and my grandchildren, but their children. And everybody's had their issues with parents and times they couldn't be there, and everybody just pulls in and pitches in, and it all works. I don't know how it works. It's amazing to me after 18 years in Saline that we're still even there. But we have great customers. I think we're the kind of place people come into and hopefully feel better when they leave. I guess that's my goal. And I always hope to be able to pay the bills, and my girls always say, could you just ask for a little extra? You know what you gotta have, could you ask for a little more? Or else they say, when like in 2008, Mom, just get your glue gun going. So we go back to our roots, and we go back to florals, and we go back to what we hope people will find that they can't live without. But we've had so many customers come in with losses in their lives, and just coming from funerals, because they said, I just needed to be somewhere that it felt good. Yeah. On 9/11, I can't remember. There were at least a half a dozen of our regular customers that came in and said, can we just be here for a while? So that's our history. We hope to be here a lot more years doing it. And thank you for everything that made this evening happen.
Who was the 15-year employee?
Well, I'm going on.
Going on. You appear to be the senior employee, right?
Does she get an award?
No, but you know what? She gets a chance to say something.
Sorry, Maureen. Well, I started out as a customer, and then I moved into a part-time employee. We got to work while her kids were in school, and very flexible. Karen has always been a great person to work for, because we all could work those hours that worked for us, and we just all progressed from there. And then all of a sudden we were working, during Christmas setup, 10, 12 hours a day, getting it ready. But we all loved it because we had a lot of camaraderie with all of the other employees, and she made it fun, and we had fun together, and we all got to be creative together, and it's been a great place to work, and I enjoyed it all these years. And so, congratulations to her and all of us as a group. We hope we do here in the future.
This next part's going to sound a little tacky, if it were, but we have food left over if anybody's still hungry. For the rest of you, this is kind of a break in our program. This is called dessert break, and just kind of relax. And I get to mingle, and I don't know if the bar's open. Is the bar open?
The dessert is in the bar.
And the dessert is in the bar. Okay. So with that, I think it's about a 5-10 minute break. Is that kind of cool for us? And we'll just finish up. I just have a quick announcement. You'll notice by your programs, I think I'm just going to say right off that the Chamber, we strongly believe in recycling. So we may recognize some of your program as having been carried over from last year. We had some programs left over. Most of it's up to date, except for those of you that pointed out Governor Granholm is no longer the governor of Michigan. You could take out your pens and just cross that off, help us out, and put in no offense to Governor Snyder. We'll try. We've done everything perfect up until now, right? With that, It's all you, Joe. And I'm told that this microphone was on better, right, so we've been using this one.
All right, hope you all enjoyed your dessert, thank you, and for coming back so quickly and orderly. At this time, we would like to present our last award of the evening, the 2011 recipient of the Over 20 Employee Business of the Year is Kyocera Yu Murko, and I would like David Yu to please come up to the podium. And now is the time when you get lavished with proclamations. I would like to introduce, again, Representative Mark Bomet and Senator Richardsville Office John Manor to come up.
Actually, we'll let you hold this. You're the recipient, but we will take it back.
Ours actually says government breaks.
Yeah. Unlike the program. Oh, well. I'll make sure the governor's aware of that. What we, both Senator Richardville and myself, and the governor, wanted to present you with a special tribute. And it is companies like yours that have faith in us that makes us what it is. Because what you have done, feeling the investment here, both in terms of people and resources, but it is those people that are the resources into a community that help make Saline the community that it is. And on behalf of the senator, myself, and our governor, we wanted to present this tribute to you. And as I mentioned earlier, these are read into on the floor of the House and the Senate. So it's a permanent record on all of your achievements. David, thank you very much for what you have accomplished.
Could Dustin Pricey from Congressman Tim Albert's office please come up?
Well, this has been a great evening. All of us coming together here in the Saline community, learning a lot about each other tonight. One thing I learned is no one likes carrot cake, but I did take the first piece, and I encourage anybody to try it. It's very good. But I met Mr. Yu a couple months ago. Congressman Wahlberg held a business roundtable at R&B Plastics in the Industrial Park, where we learned a lot about the cost of regulations and other burdensome efforts that Washington places on business. And it's important to know during this difficult economic time, while some in the media choose to take a shot at business, small business, etc., that they are our job creators in our country. They do create 70% of all new jobs in this country. And it's important as a community and as a nation that we embrace them. The congressman and I toured a plant a couple months ago. They said that the cost of doing business in Michigan is 15% higher than it is in Indiana. So it's important that politicians and legislators come together. And we appreciate Mr. Yu for hanging in during this tough economic time, making the right choices, and staying in this great community. So I wanted to present you with this United States House of Representatives tribute in your honor today, sir. Thank you so much.
Mayor Gretchen Driscoll.
Actually, I'm representing the Saline community. This was signed because David's company is in Pittsfield Township. But I'm actually delighted to be able to stand up and speak because David's totally vested in the Saline community, which doesn't have any governmental boundaries. And David recognizes that, and he's committed to our community and as a whole, and he has got great ideas, and he's showing leadership by being on the chamber board And I heard tonight that he's recruited somebody to move into the city of Saline, which I really like. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your continued investment in our community and in the future of our community. And thank also the employees that you have brought tonight for their continued contribution to our community. And we look forward to a really healthy future together. So congratulations.
All it says I can do is read the plaque, David. But I am going to say, I'm really proud of Unimerco. Anytime us Salinians Google a company and it says the North America headquarters are in Saline, Michigan, you know we've got something special here. And David not only is the company special, but he's special. I'm not going to brag on you too much, but it's kind of cool to us too that I think that the North American headquarters in Saline was a top performer in the entire international complex of Unimerco last year, so that's pretty trivial. Anyway, the plaque says, which and you already got a lot of plaques out there from the chamber already. This is a great job. Business Enterprise Awards, KOCR Unimerco, Saline, Michigan, Best of the Best in the Saline area, presented by the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce.
And one last piece of business, and Vicki and Steve from Newberry, could please come up. The tradition of passing on the cup. Oh yes, we would like to thank you for shining up the cups this year. Anytime, yes. If it gets dingy, call them.
Yes. So, congratulations to you. This sat in our lobby, which we were so proud of last year, so that everyone who came in or out was able to see this and our recognized accomplishments. So we thank you all too, and congratulations.
I'm just a working stiff. I'm not like the Duncan or the Cobblestone Rose crew that I just work there. So I don't own the place, I just work there. So it's a real honor to get this award, but I have to apologize first because when I first heard about the award, I had practiced, rehearsed, had a 73-minute speech. On the way in, the notes got wet, so this speech will be a lot shorter. We've always strived to be part of the community. This is something that our company believes in. We believe that it makes the company healthier, better. When everybody's happy, the employees are happy, we get better products. When we have happy employees, we get happier tools. And then we get happier customers and we get more business. So we pointed the right way. The last 2 years, we had 2 record years in a row, straight out of the recession. And that's true testament to the great team. I have the smartest team, the hardest working team out there. And in my whole career, I've never had people like this I had to work with. And incidentally, this war started in 1996. And this is when the original guys came from Denmark and Sweden to start the company. So I got 3 of the original guys here. Anders actually just told me that he showed up with a sleeping bag and a pair of underwear. So, in 1996, when this award was first handed out, they never would have envisioned that we'd be standing up here accepting this award. So I'm accepting it on their behalf. It's not just me, it's the great team that works behind it. And just because we're pointed the right way, we made the right investments, and we are growing. We've got 4 openings right now. We've got 35% more people and 25% more equipment than 2 years ago. So, it's a great story in these economic times, but I think it would be a great story in any time. So, I'm very honored. I mean, looking at all the names on this bowl and all the honors bestowed upon us. Thank you very much. and have a good night.
Well, that's all the formal all we have. But we do invite you to stick around and schmooze a little bit afterwards, congratulate all these wonderful awardees. Last word of thanks to a couple of people. Our media, again, SCTN has been recording. Also, Tran is here from Hatch.com. They do a great job. Just about everything going on is and also, particularly to our as always, Mayor Driscoll and all of our distinguished politicians who take time out of their busy days to make it here with us. We honestly do appreciate that. With that, I have any closing words? I think I'm done. Thank you for coming and have a great evening.
This has been an SCTN production.